Hey guys, I want to talk to you today about Neocolor IIs. So I had seen them on YouTube, on all the art stuff, a lot of people talking about them. Wasn't sure how I would feel about them. In February on my birthday, I decided that my birthday gift to myself would be a pan of Neocolor IIs because I wanted to try them. I originally wanted the 40 set, but when I went into Blick, they actually didn't have any. They only had the 30 set, so that's what I got. I did get the 10 and everything. I have quickly outgrown that. But I started off with the 30 colors, and I played with them a good bit. And found that I actually really liked them, and at that point decided that I wanted a good set. So I actually have all of them except two, just because I can't find them. I'm getting there. I'll get them eventually, but this is all, I believe there's 84 colors of the regular colors. I do not have any of the 50th anniversary colors. I wish I could get them, just them, and not have a bunch of repeats of colors I already have. That's kind of what's stopping me. I know there was a set out there that did have some repeats, but the bulk of it was the new colors, and they were in that nice wood box. I would have loved to have gotten my hands on that, but apparently they're all sold out. So here we are. Neocolor IIs, for those of you who are not familiar, are basically adult crayons. They are kind of waxy. They lay down like crayons, but the Neocolor IIs are water soluble. They're water activated. So they are almost like watercolor sticks. However, they tend to be opaque for the most part, or more opaque is maybe what I should say. So maybe they're more like gouache sticks. I actually have really enjoyed these. They are very fun. They kind of bring back, for me, that feeling that you had when you were a kid and you just got a box of crayons and you got to color and just lay color down and just experiment and play and have fun. So I think that's kind of what these are for me. They are not the cheapest thing in the world, and I do know that there are at least one, I think I've just seen the one knockoff set on Amazon. I have not tried them. I don't know what their quality is. So I can't speak to that, but like I said, I've really enjoyed these. I'm going to show you some of the things I've done. I have already had to peel one of them and resharpen, and I'll give you two guesses which one that is. Prussian blue. So it is nice because they have like these notches, so it only peels a section of the paper. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, the Prussian blue, of course. I've been doing a lot of night skies with them, I guess. Before I show you some of the stuff I've done, I couldn't decide on a sharpener. I knew I wanted to keep the shavings because they're still, you could still use them. So I have done that. I've actually got some small glassine envelopes that are coming to put that in. Yesterday was actually the first day that I shaved them. And for a sharpener, I'm actually using, this is a makeup sharpener from Revlon. It's got a spot big enough for them. These are a little longer and fatter than regular crayons, so they don't fit the normal like crayon sharpeners. But I figured a lot of the makeup stuff kind of had the same consistency, so I decided to give this a go. It does have a little channel to hold, so you can do each one and then, like I said, collect the shavings if you want. But I guess I've had a lot of fun with these. Kind of like temper sticks. I find these very freeing. You know that you're not necessarily going to get a lot of super big detail out of it, but you can lay down the color and you can mix it up, and I really like these. So I'm going to show you a few things that I've done. this was Neocolor. I was trying to do kind of a stained glass effect, and I just wasn't quite talented enough for that. I was going around the edge and then kind of filling it in. But it wasn't, it just, like I said, didn't quite work the way I wanted, which was fine. That's part of why we do stuff in a journal and figure it out and experiment. The backdrop on this is the Neocolors. Laid it down and then just ran some quick water over it. This is all Neocolor. Hello, Prussian blue. And I believe even my weeds here are Neocolors. I do know that the firefly spots are Neocolor. And again, just laid down and, you know, lays down like crayon. So it's going to look a little scribbly on the watercolor paper, especially because of the texture. But then once you lay the water down, it really smooths it out. And then I think that's all I have in here. Let me double check. Yep. And then I did this, and I'm actually really not mad at this. So this was kind of a first attempt at like a galaxy with the Neocolors, and I'm actually pretty pleased with how this turned out. So I did black on the edges, and then I went to Prussian blue, and then I think I went to probably night blue, maybe royal blue, and then I mixed some of the galaxy colors in here and kind of swirled them together. And then, of course, my white is bleed proof white. So, but I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out, especially for a first time shot at it. I really like this one a lot, actually. But yeah, so I also like the fact that because they are more opaque, you can actually blend some of these darker colors, or lighter colors over darker colors. So you do get this, you know, blue gradient over here that would be hard to get. Like I said, just kind of swirling these together really was fun. I did not add anything. So basically I scribbled all my colors down and then I went in with my water. And I don't believe I added any more colors like here once I started with the water. I have done that in some places. The effect varies. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty pleased with this one overall. And then I don't want to show too much of this journal because this is my personal art journal. But the one downside I will say to Neocolors, so this is kind of what I started trying, and I laid some of this down while the paper was still wet, so I couldn't get it blended back in. You can see kind of where I scribbled over the top. My one, I don't know if I'd call it a complaint, but maybe just a heads up for the Neocolors is that they reactivate very, very quickly, and it does not take a lot of water. That said, I had done this, and you can see where when I did the back side of this, that I did get some bleed through on that. So this is also Neocolor, obviously, and it was, some of it's probably due to this paper. This is one of the Hannah Muley journals. I'm going to talk about it later. I'm not a huge fan. I have two of them, and I'm just not a fan. But they do reactivate very easily. I don't know if, like, once you're done, some Dorland's wax would go over it well. I haven't tried that. I usually end up using, like, a clear acrylic spray paint over the top of watercolor stuff, like my postcards and that kind of thing. That's what I usually end up doing to kind of seal them up so that if they get a little water on them, it's not going to bother them. But like I said, the Neocolors do reactivate very easily. That is kind of a downside. I'm going to have to look into the Dorland's wax for that because I don't actually know the answer. But it would be nice to know. So, yeah. You can use regular watercolor brushes. That's what but I also was watching something and they were talking about using these. These are what I think they're called, the ink brushes that people use on like ink pads and stuff. A lot of people use them for scrapbooking and card making and that kind of thing. But because the bristles are so close together, it doesn't take a whole lot of water, and so you don't have to get your page super wet to do it. So I've been playing with that, and I really like that technique a lot. So I think, you know, if you want something that's just kind of fun and something to play with, I don't know the light fastness on these or anything like that. I'm trying to think. I thought I saw something that said light fast, but I don't even have my glasses on, so I can't read it if I wanted to. But if you wanted to do something for sale, or, you know, wanted something that was light fast and all that, I don't have the answer to that. I believe that they are, for the most part. I feel like most of the Caran d'Ache stuff is. I could be wrong. But I do think these are fun. I do enjoy these. I will definitely keep using these. Like I said, I have most of the regular colors now. I'm probably going to have to cave and just order the other two, because the Blick here never seems to get them in, even though I've been looking for months now since I've been here. But yeah, so give them a go. Even if you just start off with one of the, you know, 20th anniversary, or excuse me, 50th anniversary tins, or like I think they come in sets of 10, if I remember correctly. You know, get a set of 10, try it out, and then you may be like me, where you just go buy the rest of them open stock. I do find it a little difficult to find something to put them in. The Caran d'Ache tins themselves are nice because they do have room for this little foam piece, so it does protect your tips. Some people may not care about that. I don't know. I did find on Amazon a set of other tins, upside down, that do fit them. Oop, nope, I was right the first time. Never mind. My biggest issue is that there's not a lot of room. I might get a little piece of foam in there. I ended up with a couple extras on accident, so one of them's Prussian blue, which is a good thing. But you can see that they're just kind of barely in there. I guess a little smaller piece of foam. I may try that. And I believe that these will hold 19. I think I read online. When I was looking around for something, somebody had tried it. They won't go all the way to the edge because of the curve, but you do have something. So when I get ready to move again, I'm going to pack them up and put them in these. I believe is probably the best way for me to keep them safe. But anyway, if you have any questions about Neocolors that I can answer, I don't have a lot of information as far as it goes. I can just tell you my experience with them, but I have really enjoyed them. You can get a little more detail out of them versus temper sticks, and if you're like into that, like I said, for me, they really kind of made me feel like a kid again. You know, you could just lay down color and color like you did when you were a kid, and put stuff together and, you know, then blend it. I find the blending to be very easy. They just flow together very nicely. Like I said, the only downside for me is that they do reactivate very easily. And now that I'm thinking about it, I may go ahead and get some Dorland's wax. And if I do that, I'll let you guys know how that goes, how it seals up for us. But anyway, have a good day, guys. Ooh, excuse me. I've been fighting a cold, and I'm finally on the back side of it, so here's hoping my voice holds out today. But anyway, go have a good day, guys. Go out, create, go art, go paint, just go enjoy yourself, have fun, and I will see you the next time.